So, yeah, what we're trying to do is change the format of these Facebook live streams for the group. We're looking more for a more interactive live stream where, I mean, right now we'll talk around topics like today's topic is why online censorship is wrong and what we're doing about it. But I think what we want to do moving forward is to take a topic, but to have a group discussion about it and get more input,
perspective
input from you guys, your experiences, your successes around these topics, not just our experiences and our successes, but get more of a group. Now, of course, we do have a delay, and I think it's around 20 seconds. So what I'm going to try to do over the next week or two is try to see if we can shorten that delay.
Yeah, minimize
the delay so that we may have more interactive discussions and get more your perspective on these topics, your experiences, your successes. And this is how we should actually do, all of our live streams actually. Okay, so today's topic is why online censorship is wrong and what we're doing about it. So by limiting free speech in a society, people are stuck to reusing, recycling, regurgitating the same pieces of information. Think of like the echo chamber. And that's kind of what the internet has done. And the people that are behind these social networks, they understand that, the echo chamber aspect. So what I see when I search on Google or Facebook or YouTube is probably different than the results that you would get when you search on Google, Facebook, Twitter. And that has something to do with the algorithms. There's also, what would you say? Censorship in various aspects.
There's definitely picking and choosing going on.
Right.
Even under the comment section, I won't be able to see some of the comments, and worse is they don't kind of fall in line. They don't, if somebody's made a comment and then somebody else and then somebody else, that third one would be on top, and everybody else will get lost, and I won't see them. So it's just not balanced.
Right.
They're messing with us, not just us. It's not.
So by using censorship online, what it does. It causes a severe lack of creativity and innovation in society, simply because information, to some people, they consider it sensitive or harmful. Now we know that our tech overlords don't really think of it as sensitive and harmful. That's what they're telling us. They're trying to cover up of what is, gonna rise up, which is all the corruption. So they're trying to censor all that corruption and for people to question the corruption. So in this live stream, we're gonna discuss the current rise of the online censorship and how we're pivoting away from it.
Todd, to add to that, I really feel that the internet is like a double-edged sword for. Hey, Oren. TNA. Okay, so I was saying, the internet ends up being a tool, an educational tool, an information tool, but it also caused that information and education to be questioned. So as we question, then the internet turns into feeding information on our social sites of, did you know this? What about that? Did you think about this? Or did you know this was going on? And so it's kind of like, I think it blew up in a way that it's not a control thing as much, because we absolutely can think. We are thinking beings. And so it kind of took off in a whole another direction of not being able to control any further.
Yeah, They underestimated that we all have heads on our necks.
and we're using them.
Right.
So, and then, you research, and then, you've got the independent sources where you can get information where they've kind of actually researched themselves as journalists to give us information and break it down. So it's because we're not all doing that. We're not all journalists. We don't want to collect that. We got other lives and other passions to deal with that we want to do. So it's really great to go to these other versions of information that we can find online.
So there's a good quote by a gentleman called Alif Shafak, and his quote reads, "Without the freedom to criticize, question, and challenge the dominant narrative, societies cannot make progress." So you want to go into the definition of what censorship is? So the definition.
Okay, the censorship is the act of, first of all, I want to say, you forgot to ask. Anna, you ready?
Anna, you ready?
Happy to be here.
Right. And get the keyword, too. Come up with a keyword. Censorship.
It is censorship.
Okay.
That is the keyword. Okay, is the act of intentionally withholding or blatantly restricting materials considered sensitive, harmful, or objectionable. To who?
Right.
Patience. Where was I? Okay, it stymies the advancing of society by restricting accessibility of information, concealing important truisms from the man on the street. That would be you and me. But before you go, say something. I want you to notice the key words here in that description. They use restriction twice and they use concealment once. I mean, it's all about restriction and concealment. What are they hiding? Well, why do we need to have information hidden from us?
Right. So it's almost like they make it sound like they're hiding stuff for our benefit, when in reality they're hiding stuff so we don't understand how corrupt they are. The reality when it comes to the tech overlords and
restriction. I'm sorry. Have the volume on. Go ahead. I know. I just
right. Okay, so the problem with all this is this shapes a person's reality, right? The people that are being censored, because a lot of people don't understand they're being censored. And when you say the man on the street, that's really, you could say, not to pick on anybody, but let's say like a UPS driver. They work 80, 90 hours a week. By the time they get home, right? Because we work online, so we're seeing it all. We're in the mix of everything. We kind of know how information, what's news coming out. We've been in it long enough. We know where to get the real news. But a lot of individuals just don't know where to get it. You know, they go on the television when they go home at night, and that is the man or the woman that they're working all day to put food on the table. They're dealing with how to pay the rent or the mortgage or the groceries or how to get the children through school. They don't have time to research a lot of the stuff. So their reality is being shaped by the evening news, right? So when they say, well, this news is for this side and this news is for this side, I think people are starting to understand all news. It's not really this side and this side. It's more what we always try to say. We never say left versus right. We always say dark side versus the light side. Now people are starting to understand from certain news networks, oh, maybe they're not really this, right?
Yeah.
And more of that's going to come out.
The part I want to talk about, though, too, is for those who research, like I research for years now, so the algorithm sends me information of like-minded kind of researching. So that's how I got my start with finding those alternative news sites. And again, for those who aren't researching and are kind of got a full day's job, full day with the kids, full day with life, they plop themselves in front of the TV and they think that that's the news, and they don't have any algorithm coming to them saying, "Hey, here's something for you." Not that they say that; it's just there in the thumbprints.
And now Oren's got something. This is great. Oren, anybody else who I was watching, we want to make these live streams more interactive. Bring in your experiences, your success. Well,
you hit it. I'm trying to make sure it's
your experiences, your successes. Give us your 2 cents, and we can talk around your. I think Oren.
Yeah. But before that, Robin Storm is with us.
Hi, Robin.
I want to say Robin Storm. I want to make a joke on the storm. We're in the middle of a hurricane.
Okay. Yeah.
So she said, "Good morning, Robin Storm here. Good to see you." Oren says, "Good morning, TNA, Todd and Anna." And then he also writes, "People need to be aware of the false narrators, false prophets, the false narratives."
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is where discernment comes in, and we kind of go in that later on.
Do we talk a lot about discernment?
We did a whole show on discernment.
Yeah, but just to maybe in a nutshell, thank you. Discernment, you kind of get out of your head and come from your heart and see how it resonates on a different level. If it's head, it's heady, and you're looking for more information to confirm this, where we need to confirm more of the heart, which is the intuitive aspect of yourself. And so knowing that, you can hear and listen to somebody and go,
right,
that's not quite, no, I don't think so.
It's incongruence, right? If it's congruent, you're going to feel it's congruent. If it's incongruent, you're going to feel it. Now, what journalists understand is people mostly read headlines, and they skim through the body of the content. So what they'll do is they'll news organizations or whoever will write a deceiving headline and actually debunk their headline within the body of their content, just so they have a scapegoat. And that's using discernment to understand what they actually are saying, because the reality is they have to tell you the truth within the body of the content, that what they're trying to cover up as a lie.
Well, the headline is where people stop. They don't go into the article many too many times.
Correct.
And the sensationalism of the headline is like, oh wow, can you believe that? And they start talking about they think without even going into it. And so many times I go into the article and I'm like, do you even know what this says? Do you know what you're promoting here?
Right.
But they got all hung up on the sensationalism.
But even now, because it's getting worse, where before they would have to put the truth within the body of the content. So the headline is very deceiving, but they'll actually give you the truth within the body of the content. I think we've moved past that mark now, where they're just lying on the headline and they're lying through the whole thing. And then when they get caught, then they change everything or they just delete it. But by then, the damage is already done. Everybody's already shared it, and it doesn't matter if they change it.
They're not lying, Todd. But it's a lot of misinformation. It's like a lot of half-truths. You got to read between the lines and consider from your heart. That seems a little bit much. That seems a little bit outrageous. That seems like that can't be possible. You got to go there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's a really important things to think about, because we're inundated with a lot of information right now because it's getting so big. The disclosures are getting so big. Right.
And the problem with all this censorship, that it shapes a person's reality, like we were saying with the example of a UPS driver. Nothing against UPS drivers. They just work a lot of hours. This shapes a person's reality, and it creates illusions of the world which people are forced to blindly live by, right? So they don't know any better. They don't question it, right? They don't know to even question what the question is, right? Life carries on routinely, mundanely, and they think this is a quality of life. Now, that could be anybody that just works a lot and is not looking for real true information, right? They're following a narrative that is created from our overlords.
Well, they're not digging.
Correct.
They're just kind of taking it verbatim. But we were taught that, because news used to be news. News used to be more real journalism.
Right.
So we're hanging on to that, but it's changed. It's not that way any longer.
Right. Even with and not even to get any political, not to be political, but even with this last election we just had, there is a ton of information. They got arraignments going on. They got people on testimony under perjury saying there is some questionable irregularities happening with this previous election. You're not going to see that covered by the news networks, but we got to see all that plays out, So
shifts and changes, shift in consciousness. We need shift and changes. So it's gonna be different, and be aware, be watchful for it.
Right.
Or somebody's going to get pretty shook.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good idea. So be open. Right. I won't.
Finish that sentence, just
Well,
because
no,
we
it's
need to rehear it a couple of times.
Right. So there's questionable irregularities with this election. Not saying that it's going to be reversed or anything, but it's better just to watch and have a non-judgmental view of what's going on, to not be emotionally attached to it, because it will flip your world upside down.
Yeah, it's more of being the observer with everything that's
Correct.
going on. Don't shift too far right. And I'm not talking right, left politics. I'm
Right.
talking about you're shifting like or you're shifting to the other side, which is sad, depressed. Oh my gosh, and then sleepless nights, anxiety, and trouble within your being, and then you're manifesting some kind of dis-easement that's going on. So when freedom is limited in a society, people are kind of stuck to doing the same thing over and over. We've talked about the hamster wheel a lot, and it's human nature to do that over and over and over. And then the question to ask is, or is it human nature?
Right.
It's our human nature if we don't kind of rethink things or think things out. So we've been dumbed down. We've been taught to chase things. Then when we chase those things, we get those things, and we're tied to those things. Okay, we're overextended with absorbent comment here. It's okay.
Yeah.
Absorbent bills, taxes. Let's say the payments, oodles of payments from rent to homes and cars, and we need to live. We need to survive. We need a roof over our head. But do we need a roof over our head? Just to
Right.
look good with the Joneses, because they taught us that to look bigger, better, and then we're overextended with that fancy
And with
car.
that, right. And with that, society is actually created to keeping up with the Joneses, or trying to impress your friends or co-workers or just individuals around you that you don't even respect.
Or
You're spending all this
you don't even
to
know them
impress
really
people
personally.
you don't even know. Right.
Yeah. And then when you do, especially when you go to parties and outings and stuff, and you have something to share and show and tell, show and tell. Didn't we learn that in school? Want to see my new car?
Yes.
Okay, so to get back to the hook of how we got you to even want to listen to us is talking about the use and the overuse and the recycling and the regurgitating. We're just puking it all out, the information, the same pieces of information that we've been. Here, Todd, have a spoonful.
Right. Yes.
So this causes a severe lack of personal creativity and the innovation that we have within us, and
In society in general, right?
we're not giving our gifts and talents. We're not sharing that as much as we really could. Because if you did, you have a different lease on life. You've got more excitement. You've got more thrill to wake up and create your day. And I know, because that's how I feel. I've been here 16 years creating the center and now creating all of this and sharing information, because we knew the shift was coming. And Todd walks in the door. There's a shift coming. I'm like, tell me more about that, because Todd had information that I didn't have the full scope of information. So now I got a teacher, and so it's like, what are we going to do with this information? Let's create a site called Waking to the Shift. And most of you know that story, and I don't mind repeating it, because those are our successes, and and as Todd said, we want to hear your successes as well. So
Questions?
anyway,
Comments?
not yet. Let's listen.
Okay.
So creativity in society, because information may be considered or harmful to us. Sensitive information, it's harmful to us.
Right. So what you just said, it causes a lack of personal creativity and innovation in society, simply because information, right, as they say, is too sensitive or too harmful. Now we're gonna, now you have, 1984, right, with the thought police. And he literally, George Orwell, said everything that was going to happen decades ago. And most people have read 1984.
Let's see. What year was it, maybe? I was probably in the 70s.
Yeah,
You're like, 84,
yeah.
that's a long time away. That's never coming.
Right. And if anybody's got 2 cents or any experiences or thoughts they want to contribute to this live stream that we're doing right now, we don't want to make this about us. We want to make this about the group.
All of us.
Right.
We need to start communicating and talking.
Right. And like I said, we are going to try to shorten, because there is a 20-second delay by the time you are seeing me talk right now. Anyway.
Okay, so let's keep following the outline.
Okay, so as you were saying, what they say, they use the word sensitive or harmful. So harmful, the grand excuse is to keep us safe, right? Because they care about us so much, as if we aren't capable of taking care of ourselves. You know, they underestimate that we have a brain inside our heads, right? So now there is the internet, and this is the world's final frontier for free thinkers. We may have different reasons for logging in, but everyone has something to gain from the endless trove of information ideas that the internet offers. But not everyone thinks that information should universally, right, be available. Why is that, right? Could it be a worry or a concern that we may become too knowledgeable and therefore uncontrollable? But I think what they were planning when they created the internet, they created the social ghettos, right? So you have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have YouTube, right? And if they can get you into a ghetto, they knew, right? We created the ghettos for them. We're the ones that created Twitter for them. We created Facebook. We created YouTube. We got all the community. They let us talk and say whatever we wanted, but until it got to a certain point. Now they're taking full control of their ghettos.
Yeah, there's always a place where it says, start a group.
Yes,
start a group. Oh, let's see, what kind of group do I want to start? You know? Right. How many groups do you belong to?
Right.
I know I'm invited to groups all of the time.
Right.
But anyway, those couple of questions that you just asked, there's a lot of questions to ask, and that's where our human ability comes in to say something's not right with this picture. So some would argue that the measures of censorship are good. And aren't there things that we don't want us to see on the internet? Is that a good thing because we don't want to see, or can we just bypass it? Can we just not research that part?
Whoa, that's the answer to censorship. Is if you don't want to see it, don't look at it.
Move on.
Right.
Scroll by.
Right.
So many times on our Awaken to the Shift, people are like, why are these types of posts allowed? Of course, it's all about the disclosure parts, right? And which many are being censored. Although I must preface it by saying we don't know what the rules are as admins. We're not real clear. We're just gonna cut that one out. We're gonna cut that one out. But they don't tell us even the ones that they say, oh, we took down 6 of your posts. Oh, we took down 9 of your posts, and I can't see them to say, well, what is that? So I can see a formula or a pattern, so that I'm like, okay, let me take that one down because right now we're being censored. We got to kind of play the game right now and Todd's going to tell you more. So other questions is there a certain amount of control that is a benefit to society? Is that a benefit at all? Let's burn the books.
Whoa, yes, exactly.
Just get a book burning.
Yes.
Orin, you got a place for us to burn some books, don't
Right.
you, up there on your farm, on your homestead? So
Right.
teasing Orin.
That's another thing they don't like either. Yeah, that's another whole show. Homestead. There's a
Homesteading.
lot of groups starting to do that. Getting off the grid. Have their own chickens and goats and
their gardens, and we're not allowed to water, and you can't have a rain barrel, and that's
Is that what they're saying?
They have
No
said
kidding.
it. There's California big time.
Oh,
big
okay.
time. So and other information that if I had time to look at it, I could find all that information for you. But actually, you can research it yourself.
Right.
Maybe take a question and research it. I mean, if you've never done any research, take something that's bothering, something that's nagging at you. So go ahead and begin that. So anyway, some really, really good questions to start kind of considering. So
Right. So what? So at first look, it might seem, is a certain measure of control a benefit to society? At first look, it might seem so, but censorship actually hurts everyone. But no worries, because we've already learned life carries on routinely, mundanely, and we think this is a quality of life.
And it's mundane, and it's routine, and we're bored, so we'll pick up a drink and socialize with our other drinking friends, and we're not really spending time developing passion, because I can tell you what, developing your passion is a whole lot more fun than having a few drinks every night, every other night, on the weekend, Friday,
Right.
burgers and beer.
Right. And don't forget the bread and circus
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah,
Sundays. So you get all the sports, which I think that's all starting to unwind too. People are starting to realize, oh, the people that run sports maybe aren't so for me. You know, you're starting to see, and it's only going to get worse. The contrast of the dark versus the light is really going to start to expose itself, and that's kind of what, right? So what is the shift about?
Oh, hang on a second before
oh.
I jump into that part of it. Oren said he had a big fire last night on his property.
No kidding.
Well, yeah, I would love
fire?
to do well a bonfire.
Oh, okay, yes.
You know, that's funny. Yeah, no,
Right.
nothing got burned down.
Okay.
I'm sure it's perfectly controlled, Oren style.
Right.
Okay. And then Marcel made it. He's here.
Marcel.
Hey, Marcel. Good to see you. Okay. So anyway, so let's move on. Okay. So let's talk about the shift and how this all fits and how does it fit for the shift in our awaken page.
Right.
And is the shift is moving everything from dark to light, and this is important to recognize. Tune into your heart to decide, is this light or is this darkness?
Right.
Need more of that.
And as we've been saying, I think for a while on various episodes, there is going to be much more information that is going to be divulged about the deep-seated corruption that has plagued our society for millennia. This corruption is rising to the top so that we may identify it, work through it, right? Because we're all a part of it. Even though we weren't a part of it, we are a part of it because we're all one.
Okay.
So what?
Well, not only that, but and maybe I'm cutting in too quickly here, but we need to consider how we are a huge part of it because we allowed it.
Right.
So there's a weakness within us that we need to, and I know many people have come to us and have said, but I'm powerless. I don't have any way to make change or make it different. I have no power except my vote. And then we get into the voting.
That's right.
Did they really count your vote? Or was
and now you're seeing that. And that's how it's always been. Where your vote never counted. Never.
It's a good game. It's a good show.
But I think in this last election, more will come out, and it will be counted this time and moving forward, because this is stuff that's going to come out, and people need to recognize it, see it for what it is, and go, oh, we got to put in systems, right? We need new systems in place to move forward as a society, whether you're in Germany with Marcel, you're in the United States with us. It is the only way forward. And like I was saying with the corruption, it needs to rise up. But the problem most people are going to have when all the corruption comes up is you can't, from a spiritual perspective, you can't have any judgment, because that throws you off balance. You can't have anger towards it. You got to just see it for what it is and let it just pass on by and see it and recognize it. And that's where you're using your discernment and all that. But it is more about the no judgment. And it's almost like you got to turn your cheek right? I'm not really into religion or anything, but turn your cheek.
Well, and the way that we describe it, though, too, is, and you said it earlier, pivot. It's just like, it's, and then you just go to the side and there it goes. It just goes off. It's just like, bye. I don't need you. I don't need a part of that.
And then what we do, and what I do myself definitely, is every day when I get up, how can I bring myself closer to my own self-realization, to my own spiritual awakening? What are the steps that I need to do? When I sit down on Sunday night and I map out my 7 days, I break down my aspects of myself, my physical, my mental, my social, social, emotional. So right? Because I'm trying to keep myself holistically on top of myself, right? So I'm always working, how can I move that together through the week? So I'm always moving myself towards my self-realization, towards my spiritual awakening. And I kind of feel that in each of us as human beings, we have a scale. So you're trying to reconcile beliefs. You're trying to, within yourself, without yourself. A lot of it has to do with the shift in consciousness, where the divine is sending energies, and they're various different energies from month to month to break up certain beliefs, collective beliefs, individual beliefs, because the reality of the shift in consciousness and to get to the other side of it is to reconcile your beliefs, right? The more beliefs that you reconcile, the less beliefs you'll have to reconcile. And I think when you get to a certain point, you balance, and then boom, you self-realize. Now, self-realize in what I'm chasing is to move my subconscious mind, my subjective mind, into my conscious mind and get rid of my ego and my mind, right? Your conscious mind is your objective mind. That's going to get gone. Goodbye. It's going to disappear. And you're going to live your life in the objective reality from your subjective self, from your true self, right? The true I, not the fake I. I am Todd. That's a fake Todd. I am right? How people, oh, your name's John. What do you do for work? Oh, I'm an attorney. Oh, so you're John the attorney, right? That's wrong, right? You're not John the attorney.
Oh, we label.
Right?
There's
that's your fake I. That's
your 3D.
That's your
self.
3D I. That's your ego I, right?
Yeah. Couple things.
Yes.
You were saying earlier about changing beliefs or
Yes.
transcending. Okay. So what I want to share is the belief or the belief system or the BS for the belief system is a success on your part. So when we're looking for success stories, it would be great to hear what happened during your day that maybe a belief got transformed, because that's where the key is. That's where the thinking goes in, so that you can start, because we've been taught so many things that aren't true, that even our parents taught us because they're parents.
Because they don't even know either.
Yeah. So then, and it's our job as a shifting consciousness to check out which ones of these belief systems just really don't serve. And then you can exhale and go, okay, ka-ching, got another one. Share that success story. But at the same time, ask, next, where's the next one? Like, step into it. Get excited that there's another belief that needs to be transformed.
Correct. Now, with beliefs are actually in the structure of our reality. So, what am I trying to say here? You can transcend or reconcile a belief, and 3 to 6 months down the road, start picking that belief up again.
Yeah.
And you're back into the hamster wheel of that belief.
Well, we fall back. I mean, that is human nature.
Yeah, but you're trying to move from that.
I know. I know. We're starting to stay at least in 4D before we even get to 5D. Todd, we're kind of running out of time, so I really want you to kind of go through, what changes that you have created.
Well, no, so instead of, because a lot of people say, why don't we fight against this censorship? We're on a list. There's no doubt about it. Awaken the Shift group is on a list. And it's only going to get worse. We knew this time was going to come. People say, well, why don't you battle them for the censorship? Why battle them? Why put all that energy into a battle that we may win? But why do that? We knew this time was coming years ago. Just because we knew the dark and the light would get contrasted so much. And we always didn't really have high hopes for Facebook. So we knew years ago. So we started developing our own social network. And we will start doing screen shares with that probably within the next couple of weeks to show you the platform, what we have created within it. And then what we will do is we will open it within the next few weeks, and we can start talking and doing live streams on our own platform, right? This would be the Awaken the Shift group's social network where nobody can censor us. Now, of course, we're not going to go off on all these crazy,
No.
There is going to be,
it's got to be growth.
Right.
It can't be just pummeling, regurgitating, reusing, all those words we
Right.
talked about earlier.
So it's really, we're creating it so other like-minded individuals like ourselves who are on this live stream, we want to create a community, a tribe of individuals that are really taking their own spiritual awakening, the collective spiritual awakening, right? Whoever's into raising the collective consciousness, raising their own consciousness. You know, we're looking for the best of the best, you know? And
Well, there's a new earth to create. The
Right.
best of the best need to rise to the top. There needs leaders.
Right. And there is a thing, I don't know, I'm just going to say it, but there's a thing called mastermind. And when you bring more than two individuals together, the divine brings more energy into that community. Imagine if we can get hundreds, even thousands of people on this community, and everybody is sharing their experiences and their successes. And what we want to do is every week we'll have a live show on the platform and hopefully we can get it where we all can kind of talk together without no latency. Latency is another word for delay. But that's what we want to do, because if we can get everybody kind of moving in the same direction, sharing their experiences, sharing their successes, because
It'll help somebody else have that same kind of experience because they learned from you. They learned from your experience.
And it helps you and it gets you to know your knowledge better when you teach somebody else your knowledge. But see, we don't want to be the teacher. We just want to lend our experience and our successes.
And hear yours. Todd, before you go on, we never did YouTube. We didn't do... No. This is what I want to talk about. It's okay. It's all right.
What?
No. Stop. You already saw this. Let me talk about it. So anyway, Todd was always of the belief, and this goes back 7 years ago, that we don't want to put anything on somebody else's property. So we never developed a YouTube because we knew it would get yanked down sometime or another. So that time is here. And so minutes before we opened this thread, this video, we got fact checked by somebody's post on the quantum blockchain system and counting votes and stuff. And so what I want to read to you is what Facebook says, and it says, to fight false news, who's determining if that's false or not, Facebook pushes misleading content farther down in the news feed and provides additional articles on that same topic, their articles. And if a group repeatedly shares false news, Facebook may push all of that group's content down in the news feed, which may mean fewer people visit the group. So Facebook may also stop suggesting that people join the group. You know how on the side it's like, oh, join this group. It's like-minded to you. That's the algorithm. So we just got that today. Another little hint that they're really censoring. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
I didn't get any dings in today.
Right.
Okay, so
I'd say that's about it for this
we need to
show.
close up.
I think we had a great conversation on censorship. And, if you can, start inviting people that you think that would enjoy these discussions and that have their own experiences and their own successes. We are changing the format of these live streams. We don't want to be just like talking all the time. We want to have everybody kind of bring their experiences and their successes to these live streams, and they'll start to grow, I think, more if it's more of a hangout we're trying to create.
Yeah, and also during your week, because we'll be week to week, write it down even. Write down that success story. Be excited, happy, write it down. And then be excited, happy when you share it with us. Todd, Robin Storm.
Yes.
She says, false narratives, and Robin, I didn't mean to laugh. I gave her a laugh emoji. It wasn't anything laughable. It's a really good point. So I went, wow, instead, because that's what I really wanted to push. But anyway, false narrative serves only the lies they want to tell us to believe. Research is part of the shift. Choosing truth we have a right to have.
Yes. That's excellent.
That's not any censorship. Ding, 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 ding.
Right.
All right, and Marcel says, take it easy. And he says, full support from here, because he's in Germany watching all of this. And so are many, many people from all over the world watching America, because they know if America goes down, they go down. If America goes up, they go up. And they got their own issues, their own censorship, the problems and issues that we have, they have.
Yep.
So, shall we end?
Yes. All right, so other than that, everybody have a great week, and we'll see everybody back.
One more announcement. We won't be on next week. I got a wedding.
Oh, congratulations. Yes, yes,
A
yes.
family wedding. So
Is
we're
that Tuesday? Wednesday?
no, it's this weekend. So we're planning and stuff. So we don't have it. We're not going to be here next week.
All right, so next week we will not have a live show. I'm starting to get more on the Facebook page. I know I've been saying that for a few months, but I am getting away from the platform and get more integrated into the Wake in the Shift group page on Facebook. So we'll try to create some conversations there.
And also recognize that we have there's at least 30 pieces of videos in the announcement section.
Yeah.
So if you want to kind of read and learn and kind of grow your own personal growth and development, spiritual growth and development, check them out. Check them out and see how they are. Make a comment to us, though, too, so that we know what you're interested in as far as did it work, it wasn't work, was it good information, it made you stuck, it made you more stuck. Anyway.
All right, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, but we'll see you on the page later today.
Create a great day.